Welcome to Gen 365 podcast. This is an initiative of Beyond the Veil Mission. And this is a podcast for the community to empower a generation of healing and hope 365 days of the year. How everyone is doing. Today's conversation will be, working moms. And when we say working moms, I think all moms are working moms because the job is not in the office. Any mom, anywhere you are, you have your business in your home, everywhere. We are all working moms. Yes, that's the conversation. And we are so really, extremely blessed. We're going to do 2 podcasts with Michaella. So yeah, the next one is going to be a surprise. Stay tuned. However, I need to welcome our special guest today. Michaella, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I am so glad to have this conversation with you. Especially the thing that I love is the fact that we are in our pajamas. We should have really recorded a video of this conversation because, this is, I think, when our kids go to sleep, moms all the time, I was sending this video to my son. I'm like, this lady was showing what she does after the kids go to sleep. We started scrolling down and checking all the social media. I'm like, this is a moment for ourselves. So, before we start the conversation, I just need to know for our listeners. Like to know Michaella Mutoni. Tell us a little bit about yourself, tell them who you are so they can connect with you.
Okay. So I'm Randy's, like you. Do we say Randy's or Rondon? One of the two.
I'm always confused. Is it Randy's or Rondon?
It depends on the mood. I go with either one. I was born in Burundi though, because of our history. And then in 1995, we moved to Rwanda, lived there till 2002, where we moved to Germany. So we lived in Germany for 4 years, and then we moved to Senegal. And I lived there for 2 years, and then I moved to Canada. So we've moved around a lot. And in Canada, I lived in Montreal, I lived in Toronto, now I'm in Ottawa. And so I really think of myself as like a third culture kid. I don't know if you know the term yet, but it's basically like people who have had their formative years outside of their home country. And I think it's important in the context of this conversation to set that in place. Because I think that how I approach my life and how I approach motherhood is like a mix of all the different things I've seen around while we're growing up. And it's not necessarily what I would call like traditionally Canadian or like traditionally Rwandan. It's more like, let's just try to figure out what works for you.
Yes.
And then go from there. So I work in tech. I have a husband. His name is Sicho.
We love to hear that.
He's from Ghana, but he also grew up in Oman. So we agree on the fact that we kind of grew up outside. And then we have a son together. His name is Imena Kwesi. Yeah. And he's 17 months. And he's such a little funny kid.
Yes.
So it's been an adventure, girl. Hey, it's been an adventure. But
I can imagine.
But we'll get into all that. Yes, that's who I am. Then what else? Oh, I really like, I guess empowering people. You mentioned my Instagram, right? So, so for me, it's like life is there for us to kind of learn. And I'm the type of person who I like to think about what's going on and then kind of share insights, of what I learn with people. So that's why you always get like these random Instagram stories of what's been on my mind. But for me, it's like, if I went through it, why can I not try to make it better for the next person, right?
Yes.
And then I always have very good conversations after, because people share their insights, and then I learn a couple of things as well. So I'm really about trying to help us, especially like women, African women, succeed in this environment that we live in, right? Because for most of us, we're just trying to figure it out, man. Like, we're just here like, help me. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you so much. So I think they're gonna get to know you more as we have this conversation. And I think to start our conversation, I want to play a game with you.
Okay.
Okay, so are you aware of the Would You Rather games?
Yes.
Okay, you get 15 to 20 seconds to give me an answer for these questions. You know, don't think too much, just whatever comes first in your mind. You know, we just want to see one day if you want to surprise you, if you want to spoil you, or is your family listening? They better listen so they can know the options of Michaella, okay? Okay.
So I just answered the question. Yeah. I just answered the question. I don't justify it, right?
Don't justify, just choose. Okay. Just choose.
Okay. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, first question. So this is a Would You Rather game. We're gonna have how many questions? Give me a second. Okay, let's go. So first question, would you rather? So would you rather have unlimited paid maternity leave or a personal assistant to help you with childcare and household tasks?
Personal assistant.
Okay, same. Okay, second.
No, man. I'd paid the maternity leave, unlimited paid maternity leave, but you're struggling by yourself. It's okay. I'll take the personal assistant.
Money. Please take the money. Give me an assistant. Okay, husband, family, I hope you're listening. Would you rather have a high-powered career but be away from home frequently, or a less demanding job that allows for more time with family?
That one was hard for me. Demanding for a limited period of time. While the kids are small. I want high-powered from home. That's what I want.
Okay. I love that. Women are gonna choose what we're gonna choose. I love that. Okay, so would you rather have the ability to perfectly balance work and family life, or have all the knowledge and skills needed to excel in both areas without any struggle?
The second one. I want the knowledge and the skills to excel in both without struggling.
Who want to struggle? Okay. Would you rather have a supportive network of fellow working moms to lean on for advice and help, or have a substantial financial cushion to provide for any necessary support you might need?
Why are you laughing? You already know the answer. Me, I want the financial cushion. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I think this is gonna make the next conversation interesting, because
which one would you choose? Which one would you choose?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. In this economy, no.
Exactly.
No. Friends, I love you, but give me that money, please. Give me that money so I can pay for spa, put my kids in program. I'm sorry, but it's really interesting. Okay, last would you rather. Okay. I think I'm going to put these would you rather questions in our stories. I want to see what other moms are thinking, because this is so fun. Would you rather have your children understand and appreciate the challenges of your career path, or have them prioritize their own personal happiness and the success above all else?
I want them to prioritize their success and happiness. Yeah, I want it to be about them, right? Like, they were not there when I was making my choices. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's really great. Thank you so much. I think we picked a thing or two, and we know the next baby shower, we know what to do. A personal assistant, okay? You know what? I've heard actually some people are doing it in baby shower.
Yeah.
Instead of buying gifts, they're actually putting together money to hire someone who can cook for at least 2 months for the mother when they have the baby, someone who can clean for them for maybe 3 months. I was like, okay, I'm ready to have another baby if I can.
I think that's what I will do when we are ready for the second one. I'm gonna be like, guys, I don't need gifts. Give me cash so I can go hire help.
Absolutely. Anyhow, so our conversation, we were inspired, I think, thinking about this conversation, following your stories. You always, most of the time, not always, but, sometimes you share with us your journey as a mom, working mom, especially killing it, doing the work. We want to know how you are doing it because sometimes, especially some moms can feel like, when they start having babies, feel like, they're being left out. They can keep up with career,
Yeah.
families, and, there's a lot. But as a working mom, can you work, can you walk us through your day as a working mom, who's pursuing her career while making an impact in our communities? So how is your day look like? I know it might be different, but
Yeah.
walk us through your day.
Yeah, of course. So I am very lucky
Mm-hmm.
that Sito, my husband, he's very involved. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's really involved with Dimena. He's really involved with the things at home. So I don't really feel like I do it alone. So in the morning, he's an early riser and I am not. Like me, I like my sleep. I need my sleep.
Yeah.
Um, so he takes care of the baby in the morning. Like
Mm-hmm.
he will wake him up, give him breakfast, get him ready to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helps me kind of sleep in a little longer. And then I get up and they're about to go out and then he goes and he drops him off. And so I have slow mornings. Like I
Yes.
love them. I take my time and then I get ready for work. And then I'm lucky that I work from home as well.
Mm-hmm.
90% of the time I work from home.
Mm-hmm.
And so normally I would just come in like my home office and then I would
Mm-hmm.
work. And then in the afternoon, that's when I'm usually like, yeah, so it's time to think about what we're going to eat now,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so around 4:35, I will either go down and cook dinner,
Mm-hmm.
um, or if we ordered food, warm up what we ordered.
Mm-hmm.
And then the evening is usually me that spends a lot of time with the baby. So because Ticho usually works late.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll come home and I'll take care of him, give him dinner, give him a bath, put him to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning, I really found that period hard, eh? Like even
Yes.
now, like that period between 4:35 and 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you're trying to make sure there is food to eat. You're trying to feed the
Mm-hmm.
child. The child wants to hang out with you because they haven't seen you
Mm-hmm.
the whole day, right? And you're like, yeah, but we gotta eat because you're gonna be cranky. Anyways, and then he goes to sleep. And then like we were talking about earlier, that's when my day starts, my evening
Mm-hmm.
starts. Because then when he's sleeping, that's when I will usually work on like my side hustle stuff, work on some podcast stuff for my
Mm-hmm.
clients.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the evenings. So the weeks are very busy. It's just kind of like go, 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 like
Yes.
put him in daycare, get him out of
Mm-hmm.
daycare, do dinner, bedtime. And then
Mm-hmm.
the weekends are usually like Saturdays, we usually have some family or friends event, and then we do groceries. And then Sundays, usually the little kind of rest day where
Mm-hmm.
you get ready for the week again,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's how it works. Like during the day is when I work on my job, and in the evening between 8 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. is when I
Yes.
work on like Instagram stuff and
Mm-hmm.
podcast stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Wow. I'm really, when I listen to your daily routine, you
Yeah.
know, especially having a child involved, you mentioned that everything goes so fast. Like,
Yeah.
I think one person, we're having a conversation with someone saying, "Oh, I don't understand why this woman stopped doing things about herself. Now it looks like she's just a mom." I'm like, raising kids, you wake up, you give them breakfast, lunch, they take a nap, it's 7 p.m. It's, you have no, what happened? So I think many moms can really relate to you. And I can hear a lot yourself, your husband, and then the child, and then you mentioned friends on the weekend. It's like, it's like all these demands in a week, in a month, and we have to respond to them. Honestly, God bless the moms. I'm curious to know, do you ever experience some challenges, especially as a working mom, trying to advance your professional life? Do you, you mentioned that you have support from your husband. That's really good. Do you ever face challenges?
Yeah, time, right? I feel like there isn't enough time in the day. Like, as I was telling you about my weekend, I was like, yeah, my weekend sounds lighter than what it is. It truly is, but it's because I hadn't counted the nap times. I hadn't counted the fact that you have to go to the park, so you get out of the house, right? Because babies start to get antsy in the house. Like, having a child is a full-time job, right?
Yes.
So I think I was talking to another mom earlier today, and we were saying how laundry now takes 3 days to do. Before you used to be able to just do it in one go, but now it takes 3 days because, first of all, there is so much, but also because you get interrupted, right?
Yes.
So one day you're going to be washing, and then it's going to sit there for another day. And then the third day you're going to maybe fold it and put it away, right? So I think for me, and like for many other parents, time is the biggest problem. And then also because mine is still small and he's in daycare, he gets sick, right? And so that means like, oh, he's going to be at home. And so if he's at home, then who's looking after him, right?
Yes.
Is it me or is it my husband? And right now we both work from home, so we kind of split it. But those are the type of choices or demands that, depending on the type of career that you have, it can impact where you want to go and where you want to be, right? So for me, I'm lucky that right now it's fine. Like where I am, everybody has a family and they respect that. So it hasn't been a problem. But yeah, time, I would say, is the biggest challenge. Like I used to have this goal of like working out 5 days a week.
You are still working out, raising Imena and going to the park, standing, cooking, washing the baby. That's workout.
And then I had to sit down and say, okay, you have many goals. Which one do you want to prioritize,
Oh my God.
So now I try to do 2 or 3 times, not 5, because I was like, it's fine,
Yeah.
So, but you have to make choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're having conversation with some of the young people from our community, and I was sharing with them, like, I think if it was in a real world and there were all the possibilities, when moms are raising their children, I think in a real world, we have a good supportive system, no financial issues. It will be easier for moms to just focus on the babies, at least until they go maybe to school, kindergarten, something like that, because just raising your children takes a lot. And I'm glad that you had to prioritize, 5 days or maybe 3 days. So I can, that's great. So, and, I wanted to share this piece as well on the laundry piece. I used to do a lot of laundries. Like my 2 boys, they go to the school, they have uniform. But tell me how every other day their laundry bin is full. I'm like, what is going on? So now, one time all the laundry machine and the dry machine, they just stopped working.
Oh no.
I got the laundry machine and the dry machine stopped working. In the midst of trying to find another one, I was like, I went to pay money to wash clothes outside. it's expensive. I'm like,
Of course.
$100. I'm like, this is crazy.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do laundry every day and then air dry the clothes because I'm like, it's summer. Then I started doing laundry every day, not just the weekend. Actually, I
Yeah.
find it so much easier because every day is just less clothes. You fold them in about 5 minutes and it's gone. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna continue the routine. That's one piece. I think sometimes we share some of the tips that what works for
Yeah.
me. It might not work for you, but sometimes you never know who that can help. So I need to know, you are a new mom. You have, one son so far, and, is there anything? Because,
Yeah.
motherhood, as much as you
Yeah.
prepare yourself, there are always surprises. But is there
Yeah.
anything that you wish you have known or understood better about
Yeah.
motherhood, balancing career before you started the family?
So it's interesting because I had Imen at 32. So I
Mm-hmm.
waited a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the advantage in that, well, waited. It was partly a choice, partly life. But the advantage in that is that I had a lot of moms, of friends who became moms before me, so I could learn from them. But the one thing I did not prepare for was EI, employment insurance. I did not understand. I didn't understand how EI works. And so I didn't understand that it was capped at a certain salary range, right? I think
Oh,
it's like
okay.
70K or 75K or something like that. And then it's a certain percentage depending what province you live in. Like it's higher in
Yes.
Quebec where I was before, and it's lower in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I thought it was a percentage of your salary. So for
Yes.
the longest time, I knew I wanted children. And I knew I would go on mat leave. And so for me, it was very important to go on mat leave when I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was at a level of
Mm-hmm.
income and a level of career
Yes.
that I was comfortable with, because there's
Mm-hmm.
always that fear that once you have children, your career will stagnate a little bit. And so for me, it was
Yes.
like, well, if I'm going to stagnate, let me stagnate at a comfortable level, you
Yes.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was aiming for income. And then I go in the eye and I realize my income doesn't matter anyways because I'm
Yes.
capped.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like a wake up call. And then from that, the lesson was like, oh, maybe I should have chosen a better company, right? Like a company with better benefits,
Yes.
because, um, companies, especially private companies, if that's the space you're in, they do like maternity top up
Yes.
to complement the employment insurance you're gonna get. And so I had not paid attention to that. Like
Oh, I had
I
no
used to pay
idea that
attention.
that's something existed in the first place. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So this is in the private space. So
Yeah.
if you work for like a corporation, for a bank, banks are really good.
Yeah.
Um, for a tech company like myself. So what they will do is that they will top up the difference.
Yes.
So they will take what EI gives you, and then they will calculate the gap to your salary, and they will give it to you
Oh my
as
God.
as a maternity leave benefit. And so I'm in tech, so a lot of tech companies, they give you 6 months, or they will make sure that you have 6 months pay on your mat leave, or five
Wow.
months. But where I was before, they gave you 3,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're on mat leave, like there's a big difference between 3 months of full pay and 6 months of
Yes.
full,
Yes.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I wish I had paid more attention to, like
Mm-hmm.
been calculated a little bit more, like what's the actual financial impact
Mm-hmm.
of me being on maternity leave, you know? Like when I was on maternity leave, I was like, oh wow, I understand why people work for the government.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that's when I started learning, like government workers, they make like 90% of their pay. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what?
Yeah,
Um,
government benefits, they're
yeah,
really great. Even like healthcare wise, they're really, really
yeah,
good. Wow.
yeah. So I had paid attention to like, oh, my RSP like matching, right? Like the fact that my
Mm-hmm.
company matches to a certain percentage. I'd paid a lot of attention to other things, but I hadn't paid attention to what are the maternity benefits? Are there any? How much are they?
Yes.
How do they compare to the competition? Because had I realized that before, I would have changed jobs. Like, I would have been like, no, I'm going to go choose a better company, you know? Or I would have saved better. Like, I feel like we would have been more organized.
Yes.
Financially before I went on mat leave. But, you know, you live and you learn.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really, thank you for bringing that perspective, because I think most of us preparing to have to become mothers, I think really we think about that aspect. Yes, for sure. We think about the financial needs, but not in the way of really making sure that if there is any benefit, we are able to find them and benefit from them. And I believe that sometimes maybe people might even not know that their company have different benefits from them. Because one person once shared as well, now when you're looking for new jobs, I'm saying this because yesterday you were sharing how right now it is important for people who are looking for new jobs. It's a great season, especially companies are wrapping up their either fiscal year or whatever. I have no idea what you were saying. However, I think when you were sharing that, I remember someone saying, now when you get a job somewhere, don't just get limited to the benefits, healthcare, dental, all of that. Ask more, about other benefits they can do or give you differently from other companies. So that's a really good one. You should do a short video on that Instagram of yours to remind mom to look for those jobs that were.
Oh, girl, you know, I have a whole series planned. Please hold me accountable. I have a list. I just have to sit down and do it. Like things I learned while having a child that I didn't know. Here you go. You know, it's going to happen. I have to prioritize it.
Okay. Are you being a perfectionist? Like trying to...
Yes and no. So yes, part of me is a perfectionist, but then another part of me is like, you know, in Rwanda, like it's very like you don't want to be visible, right? It's very much like Huishanure. That's the term, right? Like don't put your business out there. Don't talk about what's going on. Like I was very much raised like that. So for me, when I come out and I'm like, hey guys, this is what's really happening. Like it's there is a big cultural clash a little bit that I struggle with a lot. So I'm still learning how to get over that because I think it's important to share our experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I can tell you, there is really, I always learn so much from my younger sister. She's an entrepreneur. She really have so much experience. Two things, I always learn a thing or two every time we talk. She told me, especially when I wanted to be engaged in the community work, podcast, anything. She's like, if you start perfect, you are late. Don't always try to see, okay, podcast. Trust me, Michael, I have all the microphone. I have so many things. None of it. It's been like, I have it for a long time, but I'm not ready. I haven't been able to put everything together, to put the studio together. But I'm like, if I wait until the whole studio is together, microphones, all these, tools, why do I have to? So I think that piece really helped me. Everyone is going to have opinion. Oh, Lydia, if you can do your podcast like this and that can be better, but trust me. Then you start looking at the people listening to your podcast. Like it's been maybe 2 months since we took a break from the podcast. And I see people keep listening. I'm like, what are you listening? So I think just throw it there. Let me tell you, I really watch few people's stories on Instagram and you are one of them. Can I tell you? Because you give us content and you gotta understand that. Okay, me, I'm not a hater, okay? I'm a supporter. But the majority of people who are going to listen to your stuff are the people who do not support you, do not like what you do. So that means our friends, our families, really, they listen to our stuff, they watch our stuff. But most of the time, people are like, what is she doing? Oh my God, those are the people bringing up the views, helping your message to get, far. So just bring those videos, however they are, those podcasts, just throw them out there. We need them.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the encouragement. I'm actually starting an accountability group with a friend of mine to hold me accountable. So you'll see it. It's coming. I have to make the jump. I'll do it.
Awesome. Accountability, trust me, I always tell people therapy is there and everything, but you need accountability. You gotta make sure that there is something in every season, someone who's going to really remind you, "Hey, girl." Anyhow, one interesting topic, and I love it because when we're doing the Would You Rather, we kept coming back to money, financial support, and I think many moms can relate. Let's give you options, right? But then we often hear it takes a village to raise a child, right? I remember when I had my first son in Rwanda, I had a huge support. I think it took me maybe 2 months to give a shout to my baby because I had someone all the time who was helping me. Oh, just rest. We're going to bath the baby. Don't worry about it. Until I got to Canada and had my 2 other boys, the village was no longer the village. So this is no longer a reality to many people. Actually, even in Rwanda, many moms, when you talk to them, it's no longer the reality. So in your experience, how is it important to have a supportive system in place as a working mom? And have you ever involved finances to create that support?
Yes, I do. Okay, so let's start. I think it's about expectations, right? And making sure your expectations are met. For me, I don't need a lot of friends. Like, I know a lot of people, but if I can have like 2, 3 really good friends, I have more friends than that. But if I can have like one deep conversation a week, I'm okay with that. And so as I was thinking about this, I think you need 3 types of friends. And so you need the friend who has older children than you. And this can be like an occasional touch base, like monthly touch base or every couple of weeks. And then they're good because they put things in perspective, like I shared a reel the other time about how toddlers are stuck to us and they don't leave you, like you're just carrying them all the time. And like, Imena is getting super heavy, but he wants me to keep carrying him. And my friend was like, enjoy it because in a few years, he won't even want you to touch him, like.
That's me. I'm begging for hugs right now.
Yeah. And that's where she is right now. And so once she said that, I was like, okay, like she kept me rooted in the present. And that's support for me. At least it's like, it's a reminder, right? And then you need friends who have kids your age, who understand the struggle, where you can compare notes and say, how are the naps going? How is the food going? Like people you can talk to. And then you need the friend who cares about the same thing as you. So for example, me, I like to work. I like having a career. I like hustling. Like, I don't like that term anymore. I like building something. Yes. So I need mothers they don't need to be mothers. I need women like that around me who will help me have an adult conversation that doesn't involve babies.
Yes.
And sometimes you'll speak to other women and like their whole life is their children.
Yes.
They don't care about work. They don't care about anything. Like if they could stay at home and take care of the house and do that, that would be their perfect life. And I respect that, but that is not me, you know? So I need someone I can have, like a business focused conversation with. Yes. And so I'm okay having that. I'm okay having those conversations like every once in a while. Now, the whole idea of taking a village to raise a child, me, I use money or like I have, I have a cleaner. Like I have a cleaner. She comes every 2 weeks and she helps us kind of do like a deep clean of the house. We also order food. We try different food services. Like for example, there is one called Porta in Toronto. It's Italian, so they do pastas and pizzas. So we got tired of that after a while. Right now we're trying another one called We Cook. They have a bit of like more choices in health and healthier food. We're doing that. I know in Ottawa there's a lady who comes to your house and she cooks and then you store. I might try that once. But I try to, I'm lucky that we do have a little bit of disposable income, so I can afford a cleaner every 2 weeks, and we can order food, and it's not the end of the world. But for me, it's really important because remember we talked about how the biggest constraint is time.
Yes.
For me, it's really important to try to create some time.
Yes.
So that you can try and enjoy time with your kids and enjoy time with your spouse, you know, and I think for me, the wake-up call, and then I'll wrap it up. The wake-up call for me was I went to Rwanda when I was on maternity leave.
Yes.
And I was catching up with my girlfriends who have families. And they were telling me how tired they are, you know? And I was looking at them like, you're tired, but you have a cook. And you have a cleaner. Like, you have at least two house help in your house, right? And you're tired. And so for me, and I'm not discounting their experiences, and I know like staff management is another type of challenge. But I was like, if they have support, if they have the personal assistant that we were talking about and they're still tired, then it's normal for us to be exhausted, right? Because we are doing the work of like 2-3 people. And yet we have these expectations of ourselves that we are supposed to do everything and it's going to be fine. But it's like, no, girl, like it is not going to be fine. You're one person. So prioritize where you want to spend your time when you can, and then, and then try to outsource the rest if you can.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe in outsourcing. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I think you shared two important perspectives. And I think one is like, you know, another angle of seeing a supportive system. Or sometimes we can think of a supportive system as a mom, someone who can take your child for 2 days so you can rest, which is good as well. But then you share like, you know, mothers with, you know, that you share you have similar things in common, like, you know, kids of the same age, maybe moms with like, you know, older kids, things like that. How it can, because we can meet moms who can be like, oh, don't hold your baby a lot. You're going to make them more spoiled and more attached to you. But then you have another mom reminding you, girl, you better really use that time. Because, like, you know, I have 3 boys, 16, 12, 8. Now 16 to 12. I have to really pull them to hug them. No, you're going to hug me. You got to hug me by force, you know, because at some point, at the same time, like, you know, no, they can't forget that they have to give a hug to their mom. Because for me, hug is love. Hug is cure. Yeah. My boys need that hug, you know, here and there. But the youngest is so attached to me, like, so. And I'm like, now that I'm really missing the two, I'm now understanding how important it is. He's 8 now. I'm like, oh my God, soon he's gonna stop. But I'm like, let me really, really use this time. So I think that's really a good thing at looking how a supportive system can look like. Especially when we become moms, I think motherhood can also isolate you, right?
Yeah,
in a
100%.
way that you focus on your just family, you same routine, things go fast. But when you have friends like that, you share another thing, a friend who's not even into motherhood, maybe not even have kids, who can really help you to have another, be in another environment. Me and my best friend, we used to always every weekend look for our friends who do not have babies. If you have a baby, we are not visiting you. And we are not visiting you. And everybody knew us. If you call or come visit, we have to come back. We're going to go somewhere else. And we had something maybe once a month. We actually sleep over to one of our friends who have no babies, and it was actually a moment to recharge. So thank you. And it takes a village. It can be more than people. If you can, things you say like, you know, paying for someone to clean my house. I think it can be challenging. Sometimes people don't have, you know, money to do it. But something
Yeah.
I've learned as well, sometimes you're gonna do what you're gonna do, because sometimes you're gonna
Yeah.
choose between your health and paying someone. Sometimes it can be maybe once every 5 months. You don't have to do every month, but once every 5 months, have someone come do a deep clean. Or maybe me and my friend, we used to exchange support in a way. Me and her at that time, we had how many kids combined? 5 kids. So she would bring her kids Friday to my house, and they eat, they sleep, and they leave Sunday evening when they're about to go to school for Monday. That time they were somehow younger. The oldest, I think, was both of our boys. They were like 10, or the oldest was maybe 12 or 13. So, and I would do the same. We would do that at least twice a month. And when I was having exam in school, she would call me, "Oh, Lydia passed by. I cooked some food for you. I know this. Take the food home." Or maybe I will cook, be like, "You know what, come take some isombe pondu so you can have something for your family." I think sometimes we can exchange support in a way. Don't always
for sure.
"Oh, nobody's supporting me." I always tell people, everything you need, make sure you are able to give it if you can. Then it's gonna be easy to come back to you. Anyhow.
Yeah, I think you also need to learn how to ask.
Yes.
I think Citra and I realized we're not really good askers of help. Because we were thinking about like, oh, we're not really going on date nights and stuff. And it's always like, oh, well, the baby is here. But it's like, we have friends. We could ask friends to babysit him, right? And they would keep him and things like that. And we do it for our friends, but we just didn't have the reflex to ask for the help. And so I think sometimes it's also just getting into the habit of, like you said, if you ask for something and then they help you and then you give it back, and then you kind of create that community, that's also definitely an option, right?
Yeah.
And it's available.
There is nothing wrong with paying back with services, Don't really be stuck in that culture. "Oh, they did something for me, they expect me to do something." Yeah, this is really, it takes a village. We pay back, services to each other, and there's nothing wrong with it. Anyhow, let's talk about wellness, because beyond the health, it's about wellness, and we want to hear ways that you really incorporate or include wellness, practice wellness in your life as a working mom, really do that.
So this is great, because to be honest, I'm still struggling with it, with consistency, but the way that I'm starting to do it is put it in the calendar. Like, it has to be in the calendar. If it's not in the calendar, it's not going to happen. So like I was talking about dates with Sicho, right? Now we've put it in the calendar like every 2 weeks.
That's nice.
And it's like the most unromantic thing ever, but it's true, man.
But what do you call it romantic? Because you plan it?
Because it's in the calendar, yeah.
I find it more romantic because it's so intentional.
It's like, that's what I was going to say. But I was like, but it's intentional. And we know that if it's there, we will respect it.
Yes.
If we just talk about it and it's not there, we will replace it with something else. Like, something else will come up and will take over. So it's in the calendar now, and we're trying to keep to it. And I would also say, like, prioritize time as well with your girlfriends, right? Like I was saying. So I work a lot. But a couple of months ago, I was like, I'm tired, and I was like, life sucks. Like, I'm being dramatic, but I realized, like, we had gotten into this routine, right? Like, we were just going and going and going, and we weren't slowing down, So then I really sat down with myself, and I was like, okay, what is it that you need right now? And I was like, okay, I need a vacation. Like, I've been working since February, March, and it had been 4 months of me working after I had been on mat leave, so I was overwhelmed. And then I was like, I need time with my friends, and a lot of my close friends are in Montreal, so I was like, okay, girls trip in Montreal, And so I took a week off, and I just stayed home. It was a staycation, And at first I was like, yeah, it's a staycation. I'm not going anywhere. But I was tired. So even just the time to rest, you know. And then after that, I went to Montreal, had a girls' weekend. We went out, we partied. It was so much fun, you know, and we were really intentional about like, this is the weekend we're hanging out, you know, and that was like a good reset.
Yes.
And I came back and I was like, oh yeah, let's go. I can do it again, you know. And now we're talking about, oh, let's do it again in the fall, you know. So it doesn't have to be like you're doing something every weekend or you're doing something every day, but it's like being intentional about doing what you can. So I would say that's more from the emotional and mental health side of wellness. And then from the physical side of wellness. So I used to be like into like high intensity fitness, you know, and I would go to the gym like 3-4 times a week. And then obviously, mat leave happened, I got pregnant, maternity leave happened. Actually, when I was pregnant, I was working out. But after I fell off, you know, and I was really trying to go back, but I was really resisting the idea, like it wasn't working.
Yes.
So I started thinking about why is this not working? Like, why am I really resisting? And then I realized like, I want to do something fun. Like, I don't want it to be high intensity suffering anymore, you know? So I started belly dancing.
Yes.
So now I go belly dancing once a week. It's fun. It's just, I'm getting out of my house and I'm dancing. I love dancing and it's fun. And then we usually try to go for a walk or like a family walk / family run once a week. And then now I just started spinning once a week with a friend. So I'm trying to be like softer with myself, you know, because I feel like life goes so fast. Like I need to learn how to slow down. So that's how I approach wellness these days.
That's really, really nice. Recognizing that every season comes with its blessings and its challenges. And I think I like that you say, you know, you were trying to fight the idea that maybe this is not serving anymore. And I think
it wasn't working.
Being lucky enough to have the wisdom that maybe I need to try something new, because we do evolve, our body do change, especially women. I think there's a book called, I don't know if it's a book or something or a sermon that I listened to, Season of a Life of a Woman. Especially we go through stages, body changing, hormones, babies, snatching back, gaining weight. It's like a whole so it's good to know, you know, do I need to change something, or maybe do I need to adapt a new way of caring for myself? I love that. Girlfriends always really help us to refresh our mind, and
they really do, eh? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so tell me, when we hear motherhood often, I think we hear not negative things, but it can scare people who do not have kids to have children.
Yeah.
And one thing I think for my family, I hope, based on their feedback, even I was speaking with my sister a few minutes ago, and at the beginning I used to tell her, just have a baby, I'm gonna raise your baby. I'm gonna raise your baby if you're ready. And I can tell that she's always inspired on, you know, maybe my motherhood style, ways that I make you look like, you know, it's so good to be a mother. So I really need to shine the light on that. You know, some of the rewarding aspect of being, let's even removing the title working mom, just being a mom. What are the most in your experience, rewarding aspect as being a mom? And also I need to know, how have you been able to grow personally and professionally since, you know, you became a mom?
Yeah. I love being a mom. Like I really do. Like it's nice. It's a lot of work. It's hard work, but it's nice. But before I go in the nice parts, I will put a disclaimer that you have to prepare for motherhood. And I think that sometimes when people struggle, maybe they were not ready. And you're never ready to be a mom. But
Yeah.
I went to therapy before I became a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, I have some issues, man. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I was going to call it garbage.
Oh.
But I have some things to work through, you know? So I went to therapy. Talked through it.
Mm-hmm.
Before I got pregnant, like when I was thinking of starting a family, when I got pregnant, the first
Mm-hmm.
few months, I was still seeing a therapist. So I
Mm-hmm.
was mentally and emotionally ready,
Yes.
as ready to be a
Mm-hmm.
mom as you can be.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, if you can, if you're planning for children, it's good to prepare to be a mom mentally.
Am I being judged right now?
No, why? No, don't say that.
No,
No,
I'm okay with it because with my 3 kids, I never had to sit down and be like, I want to have a child.
oh,
I
well, you
never
guys,
had to plan or prepare on anything. Sometimes I'm like, God is so gracious. Really looking at me, be like, I'm giving you a child, another one, until I was like, okay. But I love what you're saying. Honestly, preparing if you can, that's
yeah.
really, really great.
Maybe that's the planner in, but you can also prepare physically too, right? There was at one point like a whole trend around be fit to get pregnant, which is like
Mm-hmm.
being pregnant takes a toll on you, so get ready for it, right? Anyway, but that's
Yes.
the planner in me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm putting it in context because I like being a mom because I was ready. I know myself. Like,
Yeah.
had I not been ready, I would have had probably a totally different experience.
Mm-hmm.
But also to come back to what you said, I think God gives us children.
Mm-hmm.
Our children are meant to be ours. Like
Mm-hmm.
your children were supposed to be Lydia's children.
Mm-hmm.
So you were the perfect mom for them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
whatever your circumstances were, you are the perfect mother for your children. So never stress about the
Mm-hmm.
situation not being perfect. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, what do I like about being a mom? It's brought clarity and it's brought a sense of urgency to
Yes.
my life. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
now it's like I had all these plans I wanted to do. Now it's time to execute,
Wow.
because now it's like, yeah, what are you waiting for? And am I truly doing what I say I'm gonna do? Because if
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be raising Imen a certain way and saying some things, I want to be the type of mom who does what she says she will do,
Mm-hmm.
not the mom who says and then does something different,
Mm-hmm.
So am I moving the needle in the right direction? And
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's become very easy to see what helps me move in the right direction and what doesn't help me move in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it has also helped me bring some perspective to my life, like
Mm-hmm.
before I used to be so stressed about work and about like some problems, and now I
Mm-hmm.
go and it's not as big anymore, like
Yes.
you will, like, sometimes at work people will fight and they will have meltdown, and
Yes.
I'm there like, y'all need to learn how to regulate your emotions,
Uh-huh.
like
Mm-hmm.
you're not 2 years old. You're not a
Mm-hmm.
2-year-old who is still learning what
Mm-hmm.
emotions are and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how to live life,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's brought some perspective, and then just seeing him grow, I think it's so fun, like
Mm-hmm.
knowing like, oh my God, like we made this child, like it's a
Mm-hmm.
miracle. It really is a miracle.
Yes.
But like nurturing someone and spending the quality time with them and
Mm-hmm.
seeing him learn what I'm
Mm-hmm.
teaching him, like it's a lot of fun, and he brings a lot of joy and discovery because kids appreciate
Yes.
everything. Everything is new. Everything is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So it forces me to slow down because I
Mm-hmm.
never really slowed down before, but now I have to slow down because he's discovering this world. So it's like I'm rediscovering the world as well in a
Absolutely.
certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really especially that you're talking about Imena ways he's really changing so many things. I think
Yeah.
when we have children, they totally change us in many ways. They melt our hearts. I think as when I'm talking with my siblings, they're always like, "Oh, Lydia, I think you are too emotional. I think you are this and that." And I have to sort that. I'm like, okay, I'm really speaking as a mom right now, not as just
Yeah.
everything. The way,
Yeah.
how I tolerate more now, things I
Yeah, you do.
tolerate. It's like they really change your, like everything. And I really love it.
Yeah, but women, our brain changes, eh? Your
Mm.
brain changes when you become a mom. Like that's the science. And so it's kind of crazy, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm still processing it because it's like, yeah, but I'm the same person. Like it's still me, but it's like, yeah,
Does
no,
it
not
change in
really.
a positive way?
Yeah, I think so. I think it makes you a little bit more human. I think being a mom brings out your humanity more, don't you think?
Makes you more human. Oh my goodness. Love that.
If you haven't told by now, I'm a little intense. So for me, it has slowed me down and it has
Yeah.
kind of made me a little bit more. It's not that it's made me more human. I think it's just helped me tap a little bit more in my emotions than I was
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, motherhood really do change women. Yeah. Either in a positive way, either we deal with, we go through a lot of changes. That's another
Yeah.
conversation. Anyhow,
Yeah.
um, you were talking about like, motherhood. I need to know, what is your
Yeah.
favorite thing about your son Imena? Because, motherhood
He-
changed you, let's talk about him.
yeah.
What is your favorite thing about him?
He's very joyful. Like he's cheeky. He's very cheeky.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's always like playing and he's very playful and so he brings a lot of joy to our lives. He's like a happy kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Nice.
my favorite thing.
That's great. Okay, so in terms of, I'm wondering, actually, um, most of moms have like big dreams. And when you have
Yeah.
actually kids, your dreams expand. Like, because you're
Yeah.
no longer thinking just about yourself. Now you have to really think about, other humans. And sometimes it might feel like, if things that I want to pursue, sometimes I speak with the women who are like, "Oh, Lydia, you are so strong. You have children,
Yeah.
but look at the things that you're doing." All of it, like, I really did my entire studies raising my babies because I had my children very,
Wow.
very young,
Hmm.
right after high school. And,
Wow.
you know, they're like, "Oh, Lydia, you're strong." All of this. But I'm like, if I don't do it, what are you thinking? I'm not gonna go the uni.
Exactly.
I'm 50 years old. Like, I have no choice. I made these babies. My life can stop.
Yeah.
However, I used to really encourage women in that way, like, "Oh, you gotta do things." But more I experienced a lot, more I
Mm.
realized that raising children itself is so hard. Sometimes I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I did my undergrad having raising babies, right? Now I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
close to completing my master's, raising kids, including teenagers. When I was doing my undergrad, there was balance. Like, I
Yeah.
think I was like in control. And my kids
Mm.
were very young. But now
Yeah.
I feel like I'm no longer in control. And when women come to me, "Oh, Lydia, tell us, I want to do like," I'm like, "Don't. Raise your kids. When you're ready, come back." So it can be, not that what I'm telling them based on my experience, but I want you to encourage moms with big dreams, moms who
Yeah.
feel like, what, I feel hopeless. I think I'm missing out on my career, on my
Oh.
dreams. I think, there are moms you talk to. There's this friend of mine, she's having the second baby. She's like, "These were my dreams, or my business. I have to stop everything," any message you can
Yeah.
share with those
It's
moms.
hard. First I would say that it gets better. It's just a season of life, you
Mm-hmm.
know. It's interesting because I have a friend, her baby is 3 months younger than mine.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about how when we're about the babies were about 14, 15 months. We both woke up and were like, I'm back, you know. I woke up one day and I was like, Michaella is back. Like, I feel like myself again, you know. So that's good for now. It's a season, and I'm sure there will be other seasons, but it's a season, and give yourself grace through that season. You know, I think that I was listening to a podcast about setting goals, and then they were talking about how we set too many goals. And then because we set too many goals, we feel like we're failing. But it's because we set too many. And that they were saying like, set one goal and then make everything else work around that one goal that you have, you know. Like for you, your goal was you want to do your undergrad, you want to finish your studies, right? And then everything kind of works around that. So what is that one goal that you want? And it's okay if the one goal for now is, I'm pregnant, man. I'm tired. Like, I just need to get through this pregnancy.
It's a goal.
That's a goal.
Yeah.
And raising a human being being pregnant is hard work, man. Like, raising a human being is work. And so if for the next 2 years of your life, that's all you're doing, all quotes unquote, that's great. That's lofty. Like, you've raised the being in your stomach, now in your belly, and now you're raising a little human. Like, that's a lot of work. I think we need to put respect on that, and we need to acknowledge the work that goes into that. And then I would say it's never too late, right? Like, we can always start over. If there's something you don't like in your life, if you're not happy with your job, it's never too late to start over. Like, we're very young. We're in a country that has a lot of opportunities, that has a lot of ways to do things. I mean, you and I were talking and it's 9 p.m., you know, and it's because the kids went to bed. So start with one day at a time, and then make it count, right? And then the last thing I would say, you kind of mentioned it earlier, is that it's okay to take a pause. Like, you don't have to be with your child or your children all the time. Like, they're going to be okay, you know. I listened to this other woman called Esther Perel. I don't know if you know her. She's this French therapist. She lives in the US. And she was comparing, she does a podcast around relationships, like romantic relationships and friendships. And she was comparing the American way, the North American way of raising kids, and the European way of raising kids. And she was saying, like, in North America, like, we are very cuddly of our kids. Like, we have to be at every game. You have to be at every recital. You have to be doing everything all the time with them. And she was saying that's not a sustainable way of living. Yeah. Because it leaves no space for you to do anything, you know. And then she was saying, like, in Europe, parents are not at every game. Parents are not at every recital, you know. Like, they will drop you off and they'll go do their thing, and then they'll come and pick you up, you know. And then they will come maybe to, like, the big ones, the important ones, but they will prioritize, you know. So I think it's important to acknowledge that you can want to take a pause from your kids. And it's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad mom that you're like, today I'm going to take a day off and go to the spa, like you were saying, you know, because the kids are at school and it's a Friday or it's a Thursday or whatever day, or I'm just going to lay in my house and do nothing. Or I'm just going to take a weekend and go away with my girlfriends. Yeah. So I would say those three things, like, it gets better. It's a season. And if you're not happy, one needs to change. Yes. And take the first step. And then the third one, it's okay to take a break from your kids. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I think those are really, really great advice. And I often hear people, oh, marriage is not achievement. Motherhood is not achievement. It is an achievement. Yeah, and it's a lot of work. I'm saying this because if you are a mom raising your children, maybe not working at the same time, maybe not working on that project, people might make you feel like, you know, oh, you are not the mom who's doing it. But I'm telling you, you are really doing beyond bigger work, because you are raising humans. You are really, I don't even know how I can say this, but I think if your goal,
like you said, you have to prepare yourself for having babies, right? For having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
There's even someone who can prepare, okay, I'm going to work hard, save money. When I have my child, I'm not going to do anything else for 5 years. That's okay.
Exactly.
Even if it's not about money or anything, if you decide that raising your children is your goal, is your achievement, is that moment, that is your goal, that is your achievement. I was telling someone when we celebrate Women's Day, I'm like, the type of women we celebrate says a lot about the society we have today. Because invite a woman who is an entrepreneur, a woman who, it's more like professional women in the corporate world, professional. We don't invite those women who are caregivers of their families, women who are maybe, just raising their families, cooking for their families. I was looking at this grant the government is calling for people to apply for, nominating caregivers, good caregivers in their communities, not caregivers in a professional way, caregivers who take care of their families. Maybe they have either a child or taking care of their parent. I was like, this is really great. So I think seeing motherhood as an achievement, as a life, achievement, a goal, that's really big.
Yeah, I mean, because they are influencing human beings, right? Like you are raising well-balanced children, and you're giving them love, you're giving them self-esteem, you're educating them. Like moms are the best people, parents are the best people for their children. So being with them and as they grow and nurturing them, there is nothing bigger than that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've started it's been a few years. Whenever I introduce myself, I'm a mom first. And in my skills as well, anytime I'm applying for something, I'm including my motherhood skills. Because, I can lead my children, I have 3 boys, different activities, different games. They don't like the same food. 3 boys, they don't like the same food. They don't like same sports, different clothes tastes. Like they have nothing, like most of nothing in common. So if I can be able to accommodate, you will have to go on in oatmeal. I don't like oatmeal, pancake. The other one, not my favorite. But at the end of the day, you're gonna eat what I serve. But the other days, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna spoil you today, but. So those things, these are life skills, think about a mom, you can really juggle all of that, really use those skills, celebrate yourself in that way. But let's talk about, as we end this conversation, mom in chief.
Yeah.
What is mom in chief? Because we have you on social media talking to us about mom in chief. So what does it mean to moms with big dreams to be mom in chief?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because I remembered, if I go back to that post you're referring to, I remembered when Michelle Obama, she was first lady at the time, she had said like, I'm mommy in chief first. And people got really offended by that because they were like, you're first lady, how are you going to say you're mom first, But then when I became a mom, I understood what she meant, because first ladies, they come and they go. But her children, she's their mom. Like she's the one who is there for them. Like they don't care about anybody else, right? And so for me, it's the same. I really think in order to understand that, you have to be a mom or you have to be a caregiver and take care of someone. So for me, it's like, well, Imena, he's my son. Like I know best what's good for him, there is nobody else. Well, it's possible, but I am the best person suited to raise him right now, if I can, to the best of my ability. And so work can fire me tomorrow and that'll be okay. It's a corporation. They can always hire someone else, but I am an important piece of my family. And so for me, that has really shifted how I approach my life, like we talked about, right? Like before, obviously, I was like a single woman. I was just doing whatever I wanted on my own time, you know. But now it's like, no, you're a wife, you're a mom. So I have a little baby that depends on me. We are the one who chose to have a baby. Like he didn't call and say like, I want to be born, right? So we have to make sure that he has the best life that he can have, right? And that we are setting a good environment for him to grow up in, where he feels supported to become his best self. And so for me, that's what it means to be a mom in chief.
Wow. Thank you. So, all mom in chief, we really
I almost cried there. Like, I started like tearing up. I was like, get it together, Michaella.
Yeah, we are mom in chief. Honestly, we moms, we have really, really big skills, big gifts. And there's something I often hear that even moms actually have the ability to see their children calling or gift or strength at the very young age. You can, the way I see my children now, I can see that their strength now is something that I recognize even when they were babies. I could see it. So I think really being a mom is beautiful. Anyhow, bonus question. If you could have one dream come true, let's see a miracle happen. One dream that you have come true right now, what would it be?
I want to live in an African country with a cook, a cleaner, and a chauffeur. That's the vision. That's
do you know
the goal.
something I told someone? People used to desire, I'm a single mom now. I'm like, I don't need the man to, I need the man to marry me and take me back to Africa. Like, take me back to Africa, live that VIP life. I need that.
Yeah, that's what I want.
I'm ready to be a wife. Is it a wife material? Like, wake up, put on my makeup and comment, clean like this, do this. I am telling you.
Yeah, I'm ready to give someone a menu, discuss the menu for the week and then give them money to go do groceries on my behalf. That's the life. That's the life I want.
Oh my God. Honestly, yeah. I think if you have means in Africa, it's the best life you can live there.
Yeah, that's the asterisk, right? If you have means.
If you have means, because we cannot forget that it's not the reality for everyone. But if you could, it's not even in Africa, I think in many countries, if you have means, you can really live the best life. So, okay, I wish that dream will come a reality for you. And
Amen.
Anything you want to share with the audience before we close?
Thank you for having me. This was so good. If you're a mom, if you're thinking about being a mom, it's the best thing ever. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. And I think you gain a lot from being a mom. You're giving a lot, but you also gain a lot from being a mom. So, it is worth the journey. That's all I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. And to all moms there, especially also to anyone who's wishing to become a mom. I think for the last few months, I've been praying a lot for, women who want to have, I have many friends who wish to have babies. It's not working at this time, but we are praying and we are wishing that gift of motherhood happen to you in any way that will really make your heart happy. So we wish you that. Yes. Okay, thank you, Michaella. And anyone who want to see her, you better go to our page, see, or maybe share your IG handle if you want to share it.
Yeah, my IG handle is my name, Michaella Mutoni.
Michaella Mutoni. Okay, look for Michaella Mutoni. Go straight to the stories. Okay. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Have a lovely week. That's it for the week. We hope you gathered your dose of resilience for the week ahead. Follow Gen 365 podcast to know when the next episode comes up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or Google Podcasts. Share with your friends, community, and family, and do not also forget to follow and share feedback or questions on our community organization social media at Beyond the Veil Mission on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Or learn more about our work via our website at www.beyondtheveilmission.com. In the spirit of building resourceful, stronger communities, we can also help your community or business or organization to share your news and event on our podcast. Please email us for collaboration at podcastgen365@gmail.com. Thank you. Bye.